Since 2019, the German economy has gone into an unexpected decline, posting the second worst performance in Europe. GDP is stagnant, the car industry in decline, real wages falling, and discontent rising. For many decades, Germany was the powerhouse of the European economy, with rapid growth transforming living standards, but this has come to a faltering halt. There's no doubt that the Ukraine war hit the German economy. Disruptions to gas supply saw gas prices soar, and although they have come down, they still remain elevated. This is a big deal for an economy which relies heavily on industrial production. Even the recent fall in gas prices has done little to halt the decline in German industrial production, which is now 15% lower than its 2016 peak and 25% below its pre-trend level. COVID and the Ukraine war can be considered to be bad luck, but it also highlighted the disastrous decision to close nuclear power stations without reliable alternatives. Although Germany has tried to invest in renewables, it had to reopen coal-powered energy plants to get through winter. The rise in energy costs has been devastating for German industry. The price of electricity in Germany is more than double that of the United States. No wonder German industry is losing competitiveness. The energy crisis definitely hurt the German economy, but it's still only part of the story. To understand the troubles of the German economy, the once mighty car industry is revealing. For the first time in 87 years, Volkswagen is planning to shut factories in Germany, citing concerns about falling profitability and competitiveness. Exports to China have fallen due to weak Chinese demand, a reflection of China's own crisis. But perhaps more concerning is the fact that domestic Chinese firms have been able to undercut German car producers. The real strength of the German economy lay in high-tech mechanical engineering, where it was often a pioneer. The first diesel engine was invented in Germany in 1893. Ferdinand Porsche of Germany developed the first electric hybrid car all the way back in the 1900s. For over a century, German car brands were the envy of the world. But whilst Germany is a leader in producing combustion engines, the comparative advantage is much less relevant in this new era of battery and electric vehicles. Volkswagen invested heavily in promoting electric vehicles, but have struggled to make any impact. As The Economist notes, its foray into software was a disaster and the return on investment very poor, the kind of management failure not typical of post-war Germany. In 2023, the average price of an electric vehicle in Europe was €46,000. By contrast, a Chinese import such as BYD Dolphin costs around $30,000. But domestically, Chinese car firms are producing electric vehicles for close to $10,000. The problem for Germany and European producers is that Chinese competitiveness is only part of the story. State subsidies amount to at least 200 billion yuan, and this is before all the hidden subsidies such as cheaper energy. It's an unfair playing field and it's hurting the German economy. But it would still be a mistake to blame everything on Chinese subsidies because there's more going on. The industry is still reeling from poor management, exemplified by the diesel emissions scandal. In the US, Volkswagen had to pay $15 billion in compensation. It damaged its brand image. In Germany, the former boss, known for his authoritarian style, is heading to trial. In the post-war period, rising living standards helped cement a very strong relation between business owners and workers, and in fact the German model of tripartite cooperation was held up as a model example compared to, say, the UK, which suffered from strikes and low productivity. But in recent years, Germany has experienced the highest inflation since 1945. Falling real wages have broken this relationship. Strikes are on the rise, the highest rate for 25 years, with Der Spiegel asking if Germany has become a strike nation. It's estimated that the recent train conductors' strike cost the German economy about €100 million per day. There was a time when German trains were known for their punctuality, but years of underinvestment have created cracks in basic infrastructure. The fundamental problem is that the recent economic stagnation has caused real wages to fall, something Germany has not seen since the Second World War. And this is often hitting low-income workers in manufacturing the most. Unemployment is still also high at over 6%, and even higher in parts of eastern Germany. Now, given the weakness of the economy, you might expect the powerful German state to do more to provide economic stimulus and investment. The government did subsidise energy prices to prevent the worst of the inflation shock, but government spending has been constrained by the debt brake rule brought in after German reunification. Last November, a court rejected the government's spending plans for exceeding the country's debt brake. It forced the government to impose severe budget cuts, hitting social spending and public investment at exactly the time the economy needs more to compensate for all the fall in private consumption. German debt as a share of GDP is actually low by international standards. German borrowing costs are very low, and there's a very strong economic argument to prioritise higher economic growth and full employment. But the government is hampered by the interpretation of its constitutional rule and a strong social aversion to debt. There's widespread economic agreement that the debt rule is damaging, but to change the constitution would require a 66% majority in parliament, impossible in these politically fractured times. There's no shortage of projects Germany needs, renewable energy, roads, trains, but the conservative approach to borrowing has left Germany with one of the lowest rates of public sector investment in the developed world. It ranks 23rd for public investment, and this has led to higher costs for business, as a once reliable train network is now reliably late. Even when there are funds for investment, at a local level, investment is often blocked by rules and regulations which allow legal challenges from vested interests. In Germany, construction permits take 50% longer than the OECD average. A mountain of red tape means that Germany has slipped down the league of business attractiveness, and the decline in attractiveness has been even greater than Brexit Britain, and the whole process of Brexit has done little to help the German economy, which used to export more cars to Britain. Another problem facing the economy is a slow uptake of digitalisation. Government bureaucracy is still often using analogue methods, leading to higher costs and slower responses. Whilst the US has powered ahead with IT giants like Google, Microsoft and Apple, Europe and Germany has nothing similar. The GDPR law was supposed to rein in big multinationals, but if anything in Germany has just increased costs for small business. Another aspect of the past German economic model was outsourcing labour-intensive production to lower-cost neighbours. But whilst Germany struggles, Eastern Europe, especially Poland and Czech, are booming with rapid growth in real wages. Poland is now attracting the kind of investment as an alternative to Germany. Now, despite all this gloom, there are still reasons to be more positive about the German economy. GDP per capita is still impressive, and real wages are high by international standards. In fact, a big problem Germany faces is an unwillingness of households to spend. The net saving rate is significantly higher in Germany than other countries such as the US and UK. Germany excels in running a current account surplus, exporting more than it imports. But in a period of stagnant growth, the economy would benefit from higher spending and a loosening of purse strings from both households and the government. Another interesting factor about the German economy is that workers have one of the lowest hours of work per year. In times of growth, this could be used as evidence of high German productivity, enabling more leisure time. But now German industrial bosses complain workers are too keen on ideas of a 4-day week and not wanting to work hard enough. The German economy is facing an unexpected crisis which has lasted longer than expected. Yet we do need to keep things in perspective. Germany is still the third largest economy in the world, with lots of potential. It is not bankrupt or anywhere near. In fact, one of the solutions is a willingness to increase public sector investment, in particular dealing with its long-term energy needs. The German economy has stagnated, but it is not alone. Since 2008, it has underperformed the US, but compared to the rest of Western Europe, it's nothing unusual. Germany also has many strengths, such as a highly educated and skilled workforce. Its population is ageing, but is not as chronic as other countries in Southern Europe. Germany only pays 10% of GDP on pensions, compared to 16% in Italy. High levels of immigration have brought considerable concern given the stagnation in wages, but it has also gone some way to maintaining the level of a working age population compared to, say, Japan. In fact, the story of Japan holds potential lessons for the German economy. Japan was once the world's economic powerhouse, but its spectacular fall from boom to bust still lingers, and there's a real concern that Germany could start to see worrying parallels to Japan. This video explains a fascinating story of Japan.